How you doing, folks? Well, we're going to progress this MGTF anniversary edition here, and that means taking the front bumper off. Okay, so the reason I want to take the front bumper off is because the line down along the wing to bumper is not sitting right, and B, the headlights need addressing. And in order to take the headlights out, we need to take the front bumper off. At the very least, we'll need to drop it down. But what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take off the five very rusty looking Phillips head screws that are up here, and it's not going to be easy. We'll see how they come out. First things first, let's get a suitably fitting screwdriver. This is a Phillips screwdriver. This is a posi drive. There is a difference, okay? Now, the thing about it is yes, they look fairly similar, but the posi drive screwdriver is not going to fit these screws properly because these are not posi drive screws, these are Phillips screws, okay? And if you're dealing with corroded screws, the first thing to do, make sure you have a properly fitting screwdriver, okay? Don't just try and wang them out with any old screwdriver, because all that's going to happen is you're just going to strip the heads of them. So we're going to try the proper stubby screwdriver because you get a good bit of torque on a stubby screwdriver as well. So let's see how we go. There we go. And see that? The screw came out and it didn't slip once. You can get it down into it. And what you can do is use a scribe or a pick or something like that to clean out the head of the screw if you need to as well, especially if there's paint on top of it. The other thing that's very important is to make sure that the screwdriver is square on the top of the screw. Because if you have it off to one side, you're not going to get the grip. And again, you'll end up stripping them. Now I'm going to get a little bag to put these screws in now in a second. A pack of sandwich bags is always a great thing to have in your garage. They're called Glad bags. And every time I hear the name of that place in Germany, Mönchengladbach, I always think of this. So yeah, anyway. Oh, you have to be mad to work here. Now, right. So there's that bit there loose, okay. So now we need to address the bolts that go in the inner wings. So already that's looking positive. Now there'll be electrical connectors for the fog lights as well, but we'll have to disconnect them. But in order to do that, we need to take out the wheel arch liners. So that's the next thing to do. Alright, so straight away I'm seeing that one of the screws isn't actually being held by the, or one of the bumper brackets here isn't actually been held by the screw, it's popped out. We have to get that screw off down there, and then there's going to be screws holding the wheel arch liner on, so we need to go around and find them as well. So, to be honest with you, I'm thinking I might take the wheel off. I'll see. Let's see if we can do it without taking the wheel off first. At the very least, I might just jack it up. Right, that gives us a bit of space to work here anyway. So same situation. With the screws. There we go. Now I may need to clean them ones out with a scriber as I suggested. Let's see how we go here first of all. If we can actually just get the wheel arch liner out of here, enough to just get the bumper screws. We don't need to take the whole wheel arch liner out then. We'll have a look and see if I can do that. That's coming out alright. There's a Tinnerman nut there holding that one in place, so we'll just get that screw out now. I think that'll work. So literally it's just a case of getting those two out. Okay, happy days. Right, that's enough. We don't need to go too mad on this. Save work, save Saved a bit of time on the job. So there's the screws in our glad bag. So let's see now, what are we looking at here? Nuts, or bolts even, as far as I can tell. Let's see about disconnecting that fog light first though. The wheel arch liner is flexible enough that you can get in at it, but I can't see a damn thing in there, so I need to get a light so I can actually see what type of fasteners we're looking at and find out what the story is with those fog lights. But I do think this car is so low, I think I will just put it up on a jack and a pair of axle stands just to make life easier for myself. Alright, that should make life a bit easier for us now. So let's have a look and see now what we can get at in the wheel arch liner now. Shed a bit of light on the subject too. Don't tell me it's a bloody screw. Screws, marvellous. What are the chances of those ones coming out? Well, mind you, it's actually not all that rusty in there. There's definitely a bit of corrosion in here in some parts, but it's certainly treatable. So let's disconnect our fog light first of all. If we can get this job done with all of the screws coming out and not having to drill them or anything like that, we're in business. Screwdriver's not the job for this bit. Let's get a longer one. Here we are. This will do the trick. There we go. Now, I'm wondering, is there something holding it on the bottom as well? Oh no, maybe not. Maybe just in case the whole thing has to slide forward to get off the car. Oh no, there's a great big, Torx headed screw in there as well. Yeah, that'll need to come out. That was not the ordeal I was expecting it to be, to tell you the truth. Okay, so now for removing the headlight units, there's only 4 bolts. There's one there, and another one down there, and another one, where is it? Over here. Okay, so yeah, we'll pop both of them out, because to be honest with you, I want to see if I can do anything with that. And if I'm going to be resealing that one there, you can see the water ingress in it there. If I'm going to be resealing that one and the lens comes off it easily to do that, then I'm going to do the other one as well, and I'm going to see if I can clean the inside of the lens. And yeah, we'll have a look and see what I can do. If I can, great. If I can't, then I won't. Now, obviously, I still have to do the electrical connectors, but let's just pull it out here and see if we can get at them a bit easier now. Yeah, it's just down the bottom here. Just a multi-plug, and that's it. That's the headlamp unit out. So now let's get it onto the bench and see if we can get the lens off it. Alright, so here's the unit in question, obviously. So far as I can tell, the only thing actually holding the lens on is this this screw here, and then a couple of clips. The clips are at the bottom, and there's one there. Water pouring out of there, so that's that's not a good sign. Hang on a second. Bloody hell. How much water's in this Jesus thing? We may sort that out anyway. A little blank kind of thing here. I don't know whether it's like a breather or what the story is with that. But anyway, look, let's just leave that off for the moment. I'll remember to put it on afterwards. And we'll take that off there as well. That exposes our headlight bulb. Well, actually, we'll leave that back on. Don't see why I would need to take it off. Right, so now, here is a very rusty looking screw, and as far as I can tell, it's actually a Torx head. So let's have a look and see if I have a small one. Right. Okay, that is the correct tool for the job. So now, I just get a ratchet and we'll wang that out. I'm hoping this comes out easily. There we go. Yes. Happy days. Alright, okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to get another sample bag. And we will stick our screws for the headlight in this. Now, we need to proceed with caution here. So, we use a plastic scraper to try and get in around the lens, and we're going to see if we can peel it off. Alright, so let's see now. I'm starting to think I might not even take this lens off because of it. Well, let's see if we can get it off. I'm not going to try too hard because I don't want to break anything. Just looking at all the water coming in here. That's obviously where our leak is. Although it could be just running around the inside of it. Another drain down the bottom here actually as well. Let's see if anything comes out of that. So, given that there's two of them, in theory what I could actually do is get my blowgun and use it to circulate some air through these, and that would allow me to dry it out. And then what I'll do is I'll run a bead of tiger seal around there, but I'll have to clean that all up. I think that's probably the best way to go, to be honest with you, because anything else is just risk doing damage. Whereas at least this way, I'm sure I'm not going to do damage, but it'll still end up sealed. I mean, I'd have preferred to have gotten the light lens off, but it's not going to come up. Yeah, see, like. Alright, let's try and get it dried out. You'll have to excuse the noise of the compressor, it's a necessary evil though. Okay, so I have run a bead of tiger seal right the way around this light unit now, and there is no way in hell any water is going to get in there. There's just a couple of little spots I still have to do, but most of it is done now. So literally it's just a case now of getting it dried out. And there's also a little cover for the adjuster on the top there as well. Now I'm going to put a bit of tiger seal around that as well, because, well, I might just use RTV on that because it'll be easier to remove if needs be in order to adjust the headlight unit. Not that I can see any particular reason why the headlights would need to be adjusted on this afterwards, but yeah, well, we'll do it that way anyway, just to do it right. Just in around the clips here, just to make sure that nothing's going to get in. Well, there definitely isn't going to be anything getting in there now. This tiger seal is great stuff, but if you ever want anything to come back off again afterward, don't use it, because it sticks like shit to a blanket. So now it's literally just a case of waiting for it to dry out. I'll have to get it into a warm location, maybe on top of one of the radiators in the house or something like that. Get that all dried off, and then we can refit this one. Obviously once we put the rest of the hardware on. But I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest with you. I think that's a good job. Okay, so I'm just getting the headlights reinstalled here now. It's a bit later in the evening now. And yeah, I've got the screws that hold them in cleaned, and just put a little bit of grease on the threads as well, so that when the time comes that these are leaking again, they actually come out. So yeah, one of them on this side particularly actually did put up a fight. So I got it out without breaking it, but it took a bit of doing. So anyway, right, yeah, the threads will be greased, the screws are all cleaned up and everything now, so it'll make all the difference. And we'll get the headlamp units reassembled forthwith. And yeah, happy days. Right, so as you can see, the headlights are now back in and looking a hell of a lot better. I took the opportunity to give them a last little polish actually before I put them in as well. So just to kind of bring them over the line a little bit, you know. So they do look well. Not perfect, but as good as I'm going to get, to tell you the truth. Next thing to do is I want to take off this little cover plate in the middle here, which is covering the bonnet release mechanism, because the bonnet release is very tight to pull from. Actually, the bonnet release, believe it or not, is in the boot in this car, for those who don't know. So I'm going to actually pop that off, and I'm just going to grease up the cable and the mechanism in there and make sure that that's all free to move, because it does seem to be a little bit seized up. And yeah, a few other little things like that. To be honest with you, I'll grease up the bonnet hinges and all that kind of stuff as well, and obviously get the front bumper back on then. So yeah, she'll start to really look the part at that stage then. All right, let's just slip the bumper back on now and see how we're looking. What I'll do is I'll take it back off again and clean inside and all that. But just sitting there now, get the wings lined up and all that. It wasn't sitting right before, so you just kind of try and figure out what's going on there. It's like as if that's pushed in up the top, but I wouldn't be all that convinced that that's actually what it is. That kind of does sit. You know, if we actually put it on and it gets pulled back like that, that gets our line right. So that's what we need to do. So we just have to pull the bumper back when we're tightening the screw up here, and then push it in a bit then when we're tightening the screw up the front, and that should keep our line right then. There's no adjustment to be had at the wing. I mean, there's little kind of deformation sections in there, and they're as flat as a pancake. I mean, there's no evidence of them having been smashed or anything like that, you know what I mean? So it's not that, it's just not like so. A little bit of jiggery pokery is what's needed there just to get the wings 100%. But it's time well spent as far as I'd be concerned, because the shut line is arseways here. And same over the other side. So yeah, it's actually sitting a lot better there now as it is even. So yeah, look, I'll have a bit of a play with it, because I haven't figured out exactly what I need to do yet. So there's no point in me trying to figure it out on camera. Once I kind of have a few answers, I'll bring you back then, and we'll discuss it then as to what I've kind of figured out with it. But yeah, for the moment anyway, I'm not going to be doing a huge amount more this evening. Okay, so it's time to refit the bumper. I've literally just sat it onto place there on the front of the car, so there's no fasteners in yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all the fasteners in and have them loose, and then we're going to work our way around to try and get the body lines around the sides of the wings and stuff like that right. But first of all, I'm going to put the two front ones in, and in the same sense, I'm going to leave them loose too, but at least they'll locate it and stop it falling off on me. And then the rest of the screws and stuff like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the heads of them up on the wire wheel, just to make it easier to get them in and all that as well, apart from anything else, and plus they'll look better. And then we can set about getting them in right the way around the car. I'm just going to give them a shot of a bit of black spray paint, actually, you know that, because they look crap. Alright, so I took the time to clean and paint all the screws actually, so yeah, they're ready to go back in. I just gave them a light dusting of black paint. In fairness, it doesn't take a huge amount of time and makes a big difference. Now, what we're going to do is the hole that the wing goes into here is actually slotted. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put the screw there in loosely before we even put the wing on. Bumper even. And then what we can do then is we can try and get all our lines correct at that stage. So like that there is in the slot now. So what we'll do is, there's no point in even putting the one in at the back. So I'm going to get the one in at the other side there as well, and then we will. What I'll do is I'll put some pressure on that and get the screw tightened up, and hopefully our line will look right then at that stage, and then we can get the back one. So I think that sounds like a good plan anyway. It sounded good in my head anyway. So whether it actually works in practice, we'll find out. Alright, okay, so I've got a screw in each side. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get my long appendage into place. So the reason I have my head down here is because I'm actually watching to see how it's all lining up. There, I see. That's actually a little bit too far now. So I'll just let the screw off a little bit and then just pull it out ever so slightly. I'm going to get that line right because that does make a big difference to the look of the car, you know. To be honest with you, I don't think it would have made a huge amount of difference taking the wheel off. Like, for the amount of time it would have taken to take the wheel off, I don't think I would have saved that time. Alright, now let's see how we're looking. I'm going to actually have to pull this back in order to get that line right there. So I think actually I might get the back screw in on this side, because what's happening is it's kind of creasing out a little bit, or in for that matter. So if I get a screw in there and I pull it back to the right position, tighten that one and then push it in there, then it should actually get right. Oh, by the way, folks, I have to apologise for the sound quality being not up to the same standard I normally have it at, because I don't know where my radio mic has gone. I was off on a road trip in the Beetle actually, and I was videoing that, and you'll see that video if it's not already live by the time this video comes out. I don't know, but yeah, since then I don't know where it's gone. It might be in the Beetle. I might have dropped it when I got out of the car. God only knows, but I'll continue to hunt. Kind of frustrating me, to be honest with you, because it's really handy. There's a record button on it as well, so I don't need to go over to the camera to stop the recording. Right. Anyway, it's a DJI Pocket 2 is the camera I use for anybody interested. Feck it anyway. The bumper is. I'm gonna have to undo that screw now. Or yeah, because the bumper is not on the right side of the screw anymore. Actually, I might be able to just. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we can do it that way. Alright. Now if I get my screwdriver into place, the ratchet's handy because, well, apart from the length of it, it's also good to get a bit of torque on it. Now you don't want to stitch these so much that you wring the heads off them, but like, at the same rate they need to be tight. That is not bad. Not bad at all, folks. It suffered a little bit of an impact there at some point or another, probably from a supermarket, car park or something like that. bearing in mind this, for a long time was actually the owner's daily. He now has a Kia Soul electric car, and this is a. I've been to do a review on that Kia Soul. It's a peculiar looking yoke, to be honest with you. I think it's a bit Marmite as far as the styling is concerned. I wouldn't be overly gone on the styling myself. I think it's a bit bizarre. But that being said, many other cars have grown on me like that. There's the Nissan Micra K12. I always thought was a daft looking car at first. It's kind of grown on me as a sort of something of a modern classic now, nearly. Guinea pig shape, but it's just far enough out there for it to have gotten away with it, if you know what I mean. Alright, now they are now tight, okay, so that's not going anywhere there. Alright, so now I'm gonna do the other side. We'll make sure our body lines are right, and don't worry, I'm gonna give this a coat of polish again after I'm finished. And then we can do the top ones and tighten up the front ones at the front, and there's a little kind of a strap type of thing at the bottom as well that needs to be put back on, but that's only held on with poppers. Don't really even know what the point of it is, to be honest with you. But yeah, and then that's that. Alright, so the screws are in along the top, they're in on the inner wings there as well. So now it's just a case of doing these two up here and then reconnecting the fog lights, and then we can put the wheel arch liners back into place, and then that's the bumper refitted. So yeah, it's really coming together now. So tighten that up. I put a little bit of oil on the threads of these just to make sure they went in nicely. You can use oil or you can use grease. I suppose in this instance it was just handier to have oil because I had the oil can beside me. So yeah, right, now the last thing I want to do now is, before I do anything else, just close the bonnet. See how our shift line is there. Sublime. That is looking the business. Really happy with that now. Obviously the fingerprints and stuff like that will be taken off. But yeah, that is a really cool looking car, I'm going to be honest with you, it really is. Well folks, I am absolutely delighted with how well this all came out on the front end. So the bumper alignment is 100% now, and the headlights look a lot better. Okay, they're not perfect, but you know what, I did the best I could with the tools and resources I had, so I do think it makes a big difference to the front of the car. And I did a few little things like just tidying up the badges, but the owner has actually ordered new badges for it anyway, so we will be putting them on. But for the moment anyway, those ones, I just gave them a clean and gave them a coat of lacquer, and it does make a bit of a difference, to be honest. So yeah, no, I'm absolutely delighted with it. Yeah, so let's leave it there anyway. As I said, there's a couple more jobs to be done on this car now. Still, the roof still needs to be changed, and a couple of small details, but basically it's pretty much there. So I am going to get stuck back into my Beetle because I've actually got a few jobs I want to do on that. So thanks very much for watching, folks. Please don't forget to like and subscribe before you go. It really does help my channel and I do appreciate it, and I will chat to you in a future video.